Hey, what's up everybody, SDNW here. I just broke into the top 50 and wanted to do a review of the deck that got me here. Note that I'm probably more like top 100, so definitely wouldn't want to start calling myself a top 50 yet, but certainly top 100. Also note that this is pre-Mystic nerfs, so I will be going over the upcoming changes a bit to the cards, and just want to let you know I'm still going to be running this deck after the nerfs drop later this week. I just don't think that they're substantial enough for me to change up my playstyle. I still think the cards will be good, just in a more balanced position. Alright, so here's the deck. As you can see, I run Mystic Fantasies. They've been my favorite since I started. Mystic's been kind of meta lately, but that's probably about to change soon. I expect to shift more towards adventure sci-fi, because that's what OAMP's running, and everyone knows that he calls the shots over at Red Links. We all know you're responsible for the upcoming nerfs, OAMP. You know, dude probably got Steve on the line and was like, "Yo, Steve Areno, I'm tired of losing to Mystic decks. Nerfs this shit right now." And, you know, so now we get Mystic nerfs, even though everyone knows Adventure's the most OP theme. But I digress. Let's check out the deck. So I'd say the playstyle for this deck is slow push, reactionary attrition, meaning that it works best with a slow start like Zen or Timmy to draw the fight to my side of the field, and then reacts from there, slowly gaining a numbers advantage and eventually overwhelming the enemy. I really enjoy this playstyle, and it's been working really well for me. The only changes that have been made since hitting Legends is the removal of regen after its nerf. The nerf was really great to let me see that regen was a crutch I was relying on too heavily, and that I needed to drop it to improve. It also makes the deck a little less meta, which is always welcome in my book. I tend to play whatever interests me in different games, but I really prefer to be off meta, you know, because I'm an individual. So first up, we've got my fat-ass tank, Zen Cartman. Zen is a staple in Mystic decks, so that's why OAMP is nerfing him. The nerf is to his ability range, which will now be 2.2, I believe, regardless of level, which isn't too big of a deal in my opinion. Hopefully they'll reinvest the mats I use to increase that range into more HP, you know, because he's looking a little skinny, right? So give him a little heft, you know. Zen's the best tank in the game for a couple of reasons. He's got massive HP, and he's got a taunt, which is unique to him. This means he can draw aggro off your other cards and soak up that damage. Mystic decks tend to revolve around this guy by taking advantage of his slow push to keep the action on your side of the field. He's played with support in the back, such as Angel Wendy, to help him and his allies stay up, and he's a great card to lead off with. Just drop him behind your new kid and hit his ability right away for the slowest possible push, barring stuck cards. Leading my fighters is Rogue Token. You know, of course they would make the only black guy the rogue, right? You know, but he certainly steals the show when he gets off his huge assassin wasting dunks. He's a really fun card to use that synergizes incredibly well with Mystic's slow push style. He's my only AoE in the deck, and that's because I needed a controllable AoE so I wouldn't eat away potential targets for my Baebae. He replaced regen in my deck, and I haven't looked back since. So next is Donkey Kong DK Dwarf King Best Clyde. To make up for Mystic's lack of damage, I run this bad boy. He's capable of chunking the biggest targets, if not outright killing them. DK lets me react quickly to threats, removing them and putting a man on the field. He can be body blocked a bit, so watch out when launching him towards the enemy new kid. He's an absolute beast when pressing an existing advantage though, so if you know the enemy is about to drop something, keep him ready in the wing. Next we have Stan the Great, a solid bruiser. Stan the Great is used for his debuff charge that drops the opponent's attack stat. You'll often see me drop the debuff on, you know, like a Mephesto or something to allow a pack of rats to do quick work. It's a clutch ability to say the least, relying on timing, but this is used to save allies and gain a damage lead on the opponents. Stan's got good health and damage as well, so it makes him one of the best fighters in the game. My last fighter is Friar Jim. Friar Jimmy couples well with Stan the Great, whose debuff allows Jimmy to get in some solid healing. While his HP per second may seem low, if used right, it can swing fights. Jimmy can be used to heal your new kid as well, and I've definitely won games by the skin of my teeth because of this. I like to drop Jimmy in front of hurt allies as they push to slow them down a bit and give them a little extra health. My man can tank a new kid zap like a champ too. Jimmy's starting animation is long, so I like to use him as my first or second drop. I don't have Zen or Timmy in my hand to achieve the slowest push possible. So now we've got my lead ranged unit, Medusa Baebae. Iron Jesus blessed me with this level 2 monster the first day of a release event. Pretty sure I was the world first level 2 Medusa. I got her really early. There isn't much to say about Medusa. She sits behind Zen and turns enemies into stakes that perma-poison enemies. She has massive stats and can tank fireballs and hook hand Clyde parrots up to a certain level. Her passive allows her to bypass death wishes, so if you have a cyborg Kenny or Inuit Kenny or something running at you, no worries. It turns him into a snake instead, right? So it's technically not killing him. Yeah, makes sense, right? I'm not gonna say she carried me, but she certainly has pulled her weight. She's the second best legendary in the game in my opinion behind Mecha Timmy. She's also my absolute favorite card and my mascot. Catapult Timmy is the next card in my deck in line for a nerf. His ability is getting nerfed to 2 rats instead of 3, so this is gonna hurt, but I don't just use him for his rats. He's an incredibly slow mover, so it makes it pretty ideal for slow pushing. With a little luck, you can get his large model stuck behind your new kid for a bit as he tries to shimmy his way out. So if I don't have Zen Carbon in my hands, he's definitely the first card that I drop. He hits rather hard as well, so I don't think I'll be dropping him anytime soon. Now we've got Angel Wendy. Wendy's your standard healer. Maxed at level 5, she tops injured allies off with a whopping 244 HP. So that's enough to full heal most ranged characters, all assassins, and obviously still a huge chunk for fighters and tanks. Wendy supports Zen Cartman and allies from the back line, and a well-timed heal can easily swing a fight. One thing to note is that all 3 of my ranged cards can attack the enemy new kid from behind zap range, allowing them to deal damage while taking none in return. Kicking off my assassins is a staple in pretty much every deck, the Rat Swarm. Rats make up for their low stats with their unit numbers, for these suckers can shred through tanks with ease. They also possess a defensive quality through their numbers, allowing them to draw aggro 1 at a time, so this means that I'll take 4 attack animations for an enemy to deal with 1 3-cost card, unless they're AoE down, so you'll often see me DK and Nelly to get the most out of these little guys. Next is Princess Kenny. Princess Kenny is probably the best 2-cost assassin in the game, with great attack speed and a considerable death wish that removes an enemy's attack completely for 10 seconds. I'll send Kenny in to deal massive damage and cripple a threat, creating ideal trades against just about anything but swarms and Medusa. Paladin Butters is similar to Princess Kenny, but lacks the awesome Death Wish. His is by no means bad, giving your nearest ally invincibility for a few seconds, but it just isn't as reliable. Still a great 2-cost assassin, dealing fast and heavy damage. And finally, my last card is the only spell I carry, Purify. I used to carry a Regen, but Regen is a crutch. Purify is getting the heaviest of all nerfs, thank you OAMP, having its size dramatically decreased, so you will no longer be able to reactively flick it onto the field at the first sign of debuffs or poison. This change does, however, bring the benefit of targeting your spells, so while you won't be cleansing the whole field anymore, you also won't have to remove debuffs and poison from your enemies. I toy around with switching Purify out for Power Bind every now and then, but this card is just too clutch for me to pass up. With 1 energy cost, this card can be thrown out at the start of a match to cycle your cards and hopefully get you a Timmy or a Zen for a slow push. So I just don't think I'll be dropping it even with the nerfs. So that's pretty much it for my deck. Hopefully I will be staying above top 50. I'd really rather not fall below top 100 anymore, but you know, shit happens, so we'll see. But until next time, guys, I'll take it easy, and I'll get back to you. Peace.